Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Friday, November 5th, and starting with the Russell on the daily chart here. Yesterday we looked at the bigger picture here as wave 3 and wave 4 of intermediate degree. We'll just go back over that just in case you missed that. So we can see quite clearly here that we have wave 1, 2 and 3 and 4 through here. So we're just looking for the fifth wave to move up here higher. So on the daily chart it appears that we've moved up already a long way, but really we're looking for 5 waves in this move through here. We've got great accumulation process here, so that should equal the distribution process. So squaring time and price, so we can unit for unit, we can look at the top of wave 3 all the way across to the wave 4 here and take that time and stand it on its head to get the price that we're looking for. It's just one way of doing it, and that was Wyckoff's work. He was around the time of Gann. But yeah, we're looking for 5 waves in that move there. So it doesn't look so big on the weekly chart, but on the daily chart it looks a little, it looks quite big once it gets to that point, but that's just wave 1 at that point, and that would line up with the other stocks we're seeing as well. So the change in this chart is that I've lifted this up 1 degree of structure from minor wave 3 to intermediate wave 3 and intermediate wave 4 and minor wave 1 and 2 here, and this current move up here is in line with the S&P and the NASDAQ, but it's just slightly different in its count a little bit. Oh no, it's about right. So anyway, enough waffling. Let's just go straight to the intraday and check on this trend. So we've got wave 1 here. We've counted all this up through here, and we've got a few trades. We may have a few trades in there, I don't know, 1 and 2 here. And then we've got from wave 2 here, we're going 5 waves up in green, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then going up a little higher there for that. So we'll just get that in picture there. It's quite a beautiful structure really, as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming into here. So we're in this wave 4 at the moment. And yeah, so being in this wave 4 here, looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, then looking this box here, the bottom end is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and the top end of the box is the 38.2% retracement level for this wave C of 4. Now we probably won't go this low here. What tends to happen is that the length of wave A will have some sort of equality and correlation to wave C, so we'll probably end up being supported by group 2 here. So at 2400 we can also put in group 1 above, so 30, 20 roughly, and 10. 1, 2 and 3 I could just call them. So this is our swing range for this correction in this space. But we have to be a bit philosophical because the 38.2% is down here a bit. So if we get a spike down here or something, it's not a big issue. But it's just basically drawing up the parameters for our situation. I think that at the furthest downside at this point would be the lower end of group 2 here, but it may not even get that far down. We just need to look at that. We also need a safety precaution as well, because we would want to be going long above this high. We could just drop that down a little bit, and because that's the 61.8%, we'll just put it here. So if we get a classic trading levels pattern on the 2420, so you know how that works, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, and then moving up there. Don't want to bore you to death, but that's at this stage, that's where we can go long from. And if I was going long from that point, I would also be looking for the top of group 1 as well. So this is the early trade, this is the later trade here. Now, if the market comes down through to here, you can buy back down into this space. But what you'll have to recognize is wave C will have 5 waves in it. But it's pretty hard to imagine it coming down on, and then we'll see another classic trading levels pattern here, and this is where you can also move into as well. So yeah, opportunities left, right and center. So nice support on that number there. So you could also, if it came down through here, you may be able to draw a line through that and pick up a position here and then onto here. And then my style is building through group 1 here. That's what I do because I know it's the beginning of the next leg. So I always try to get in, 3 to 4 trades once, in this early space here for that. Okay. Rightio, that's that. So it looks a little bit odd, this wave 5 here, but there'll be a 1 and 2 in here and 3 and 4 and 5 in there. You may even have a position in here as well. There's positions all over the place. I just talk about setups. You have to manage your own risk, of course, with all of this. I just tend to keep, I put in very small amounts and have wide stops, I don't have many losing trades that way. And, losing trades are okay. It's like owning a fruit shop and you get a rotten apple, you got to chuck it out, don't you? But, the less rotten apples, the better, so to speak. Okay, Peter. Pull yourself together. There we go. So the NASDAQ here, I won't spend a lot of time on it, but Google, Microsoft, all of those guys, they just need to finish that 3rd wave off, right? And then they'll have a 4th wave and then a 5th wave up there for that. Obviously, that will take a bit of time to unravel as well, but I'll spend more time on the S&P for this. So with the S&P here, we're also looking at wave 1 up here and pull back for wave 2. All the markets happily mirroring each other to a point. Obviously that's not true with many stocks, they're all different, but I'm just looking at some of the main drivers that are creating this pattern here. Amazon starting to make a move now, which is nice, but this is pretty much Google and Microsoft pattern here, and there'll be many other stocks as well. I just don't track them all, just a handful of them to give me a bit of a deeper insight into the indices. That's why I put those daily stocks out. Obviously people trade them and they're useful and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, that's where we are. We've got this wave 1 and 2 here, and we're eyeing up this nice, big, juicy, fat number up here. And let's go in. So on the 4-hour chart, so as I mentioned, we're just looking at wave 3 here, then we'll come back for wave 4, and then we'll go up for wave 5 here, and then we can have our ABC pattern coming back before heading higher at that time. I don't know how far it's going to come back. Normally when you have a big long stretch like this, coming back to supply zones, and it's always typically around a wave 4, but it's not a big wave 4, but at the same time as well, the normal thing would be taking the low here, taking that high here, and looking at the 50-60% back into this area here. So it could come back to the 4,500. I don't know what news event's going to come out of the gates, it'll be something. But the other thing too is that even though we've got this particular pattern here, and it's quite a common pattern, we also just need to be mindful that we've seen the S&P creep along before. So what I mean by that is, if we just go back to the daily chart here for a moment, like coming all up through here, we were expecting it to have a pullback, but it just kept on sort of climbing. That's its behavior. So it could be very much like that as well, continuing up. So I don't think that the pullback here, it could be devastating and pull back to the 50-60%, but I think that we should be very mindful of a very small, reasonably small wave 2 correction here. coming into Christmas and looking at that number there. Well, it's not Christmas yet, is it? But I suppose the shops are starting to sell Christmas stuff. They need a reason, don't they? So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out a little bit. So, I don't like getting caught off guard. I like to look at all the possibilities and then start to narrow them all down. I don't like to be fixed on being bullish or bearish. I like to look at both sides of the coin. I try to keep myself out of trouble as much as possible. So, yeah. So, anyway, this could be just a short pullback within this range here. So we'll be very mindful of that. So let's just continue to drill in here and just nail this little guy down. So the 1 hour chart. We'll just go back 1 second here. So picking it up from this blue wave 4 here, okay? So from this blue wave 4 here, we're looking for 5 waves up to blue wave 5. That's our current path to that top. So let's just understand that. So there's our blue wave 2 over here. So yeah, so wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then going up for 5 here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I could probably count that differently as well. I just need to ponder that a little bit. But that said and done, we're looking for wave 5 to move up to here and at 47, and it could go higher here as well. So it could, yeah, could go up to here, even, you know, to group 1 here somewhere. But yeah, no, it's cool. And then look, basically on the outset, that's the 4700, and that's group 1 and group 2. So that's our swing range for this wave 3 and 4. That's where we should start. So we could start by putting that up there and this back down here. So that's our swing range there. So that can be our starting point at that stage. So I don't know where that top's going to be. You'll need to track those 5 waves up into that space there. But that's what we're looking at. We're looking at something within that range there. So the question is do you hold through that? Because we want to get up to wave 5. Will that take us up to 48, which is the next level? Not quite sure. This wave 1 wasn't that big, but yeah, certainly could. We could just pop that up there on the 48. There's a couple of other little numbers up there that would be important, especially this little group 2 in here at, well, the 4772 in here. So I'll just copy that there. So that's so the possible targets up here anyway. But so yeah, the question is, if you're trading long here, you know, how much can you handle here? The trend itself is positive, so there's no, you know, there's not a lot of risk in the downside movement at this particular stage. It's just that, you know, how do you trade that? You know, if you cannot count the 5 waves within that structure, well, then you're probably better off taking some money off the table at 4700. And yes, it can go higher and it should come back and all the rest of it. We're looking for some sort of corrective pattern here. Maybe even I've got that a little bit too big here for that, but something in that regard there anyway. So, I mean, it's good knowing the trading levels and group 1 and group 2 and the Elliott thing, and because you can basically nut out your exposure and so on at that point. So let's just go to the tick chart, have a closer look. We'll need some more data. So picking it up from this wave 4 here, so all of these trades that we've put in all the way through up here, they will be coming off when we get to this number. Okay, that's my mission there. So will it get up this far? I don't know. You know, it could be. It just depends what's going on in the world. You know, we could get to here and then just have a little 5 wave structure to here, so to speak, and that would be the end of it. You know. but we need to tie in Microsoft and Google and all that and try to get some sort of understanding of who's going to top first and where that price point is and what the influence is and so on. So, but yeah, there we go. So from this blue wave 4 here, we've got wave 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then counting up here for wave 3 here, so wave 4 here. There might be a case to put wave 4 over there, but I'll just keep it on the low at the moment. And yeah, and we're starting this little trend to the upside there. And then we'll have wave 4. But this here, this block here, this is going to make, well, that's the top of the block and that's the bottom of the block, but so we could nail it down to these little guys in here. That's going to be the support over here for this. I mean, being Friday and Monday, I just can't see it pulling back that much, you know. So just depends on how long it takes us to get up there into that top, into subgroup 1. Okay, I'll leave it all at that. Okay, cheers.